Hi everybody and welcome to another video. In this video I would like to show you some information about the display function block library. This library provides screen menu function blocks to help and support menu creation and navigation for all display applications. One of the biggest benefits of this video is that it provides ready-made screen blocks without any additional need for programming, like adding components and other graphical coding. You can easily drag the needed screen block and drop it into the prepared area inside the menu structure. I will go through the user manual and show you step by step how to set up the screen menu. The display function block library is available via the PLUS+1 update center and can be used without any specific PLUS+1 license add-on. Minimum requirement is PLUS+1 Guide version 11.1 or greater. Let's start inside Guide and move to the Selector field and open the Function tab. The library provides three main content: revision history, screen menu, and the DP600LX. The DP600 legacy function blocks has been moved to a subfolder which require hardware and HWT files that support the read array from application log and write array to file symbols, but this is not part of this video. We will take a look to the main folder and blocks which are part of this video, the screen menu. Inside this folder you can find the user manual and the screen function blocks separated into menu creation and navigation groups. Each menu function block is described in the user manual. The user manual starts with the main screen function block called screen menu to handle the logic for a menu structure and can be broken down into three core blocks: the menu setup, the screen menu, and menu items. I will go more in detail to each core block later in this video. In the following pages of the user manual, each screen menu function block will be described in detail, starting with the overview description and for what this block is used for, including the icon, followed by the inputs, parameters, and outputs, each variable described with the type, range, unit, and its property description. We will come back to each function block separately in the following, but this user manual gives you a good overview of each block, the values, and what it is used for. After the chapter for the menu function blocks inside the user manual, some how-tos are listed, which helps you better understand the first use of these blocks and gives some nice hints. I will go through the first how to set up the screen menu to hopefully give you a better understanding how to use all these available display function blocks. For this video, I will start with an empty new project for a DM430 display. Step 1, click and drag the screen menu block into your application. So let's do it and drop the screen menu block inside the DM430 template drawing area. This will bring us automatically to the second step. So step 2, confirmation box. A confirmation box will appear asking to add necessary header files to the application. Of course, we click yes because we want the function blocks which relies to that additional dependency files to function. Via the yes button, you accept to add this additional files. Since these additional files are located inside a ccode.h header file, this needs to be made available in Guide for successful compile. To do so, we right-click on the previously added .h file and choose Make Available to PLC Code Pure Use. Step 3, connect the screen menu to your application inputs, then connect the menu output to a screen definition. The screen menu is the main block which provides and includes all handling and logic for a menu structure. Before we take a look inside the block to the three core blocks and create our menu structure, let's have a look to the inputs of this block. Some of them are mandatory, some not. So the para input, the screen menu provides some configuration values which can be adjusted inside that block in the config area, or you can replace them with signals routed from the application. The latter option, you can use that input bus para. For my example, I will keep this input empty. Then the activate menu input enables the menu function and is used as the same trigger as for show screen component. I connect a true constant to that input. Then the input modify. This input is used to modify the currently selected menu item. The modify bus does include two signals, new value and write. This input and the two values are mandatory to compile, so I use a true constant for write and a non-volatile parameter for new value. Then we have the input menu strings, contains the list of string signals that are used as the description for a menu item. We will come back to the description value when we take a look to the core block menu setup. And yeah, up to now I keep this input empty. And last but not least, the probably most important input, traverse, which is used to navigate the menu structure. Via traverse, you set the values for enter and leave submenu, previous and next item, go to top level menu and menu reference. These inputs are mandatory and I connected constants at the beginning and later in this video change them with the display button signals. At the end of step 3, it looks like the following. The added screen menu function block and the connected inputs. Step 4, enter the screen menu function block and the menu items page. The menu items page is used in conjunction with screen definition. Each menu item that is added allows you to support another row on the screen. For illustration, I choose the Engine Information Center application called EIC. For those who don't know the EIC, it is a J1939 engine monitor software application installed on a DM430 display. You are able to customize the look and feel of individual engine monitoring needs by creating and controlling analog and digital display information in the screen configurations. This is how the main setup of the EIC looks like, and I want to use this main structure as a template for the screen setup in this video. The main menu is the main title, and the main screen menu provides 4 titles: the basic setup, diagnostics, screen setup, and system setup. Adding these menu items take place in one of the 3 core blocks called menu item. Step 5, in the menu item page, drag in the menu item function block and connect the input to the menu definition path and the output to the menu 1 path. We enter the menu items block and see empty space like in any of the 3 core blocks. This empty space is prepared space or code area where function blocks from the display library needs to be added or dropped. For my menu example taken from the EIC application, I want to add 4 items, where any item allows you to support another row on a screen. To do so, I drag the function block menu item from the display library and drop it in the respective area inside the menu items page. After adding the function block, I connect the input of each menu item function block with the page bus MenuDef. The bus MenuDef contains a set of signals that are used to create and read a menu item. The output of each menu item function blocks will be connected with a prepared menu bus identified with the respective subname like menu1. We will use these signals separated for each menu later inside the screen editor as menu information. That's it. No more coding is needed. All bus signals that are used to create and read a menu item are prepared, including the menu information for use with the screen like show, hide, description, truncated, selected, lock icon, and many more. Step 6. Repeat this process for the number of rows you want to shown on the screen. So for my EIC menu example, I will repeat this process 4 times to get the following menu items and add each to the output bus with related bus names like menu 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. At this point, one of the 3 core blocks menu items has been finished to define the number of rows on a screen, and the project can be compiled error-free at this point. Step 7, in the screen definition query properties, add the signals from the ScreenItems bus. After adding menu rows or items, we are able to add the screen component to the graphical guide code and connect the screen menu output bus ScreenItems to the show screen component. As we have seen in step 6, all bus signals that are used to create and read a menu item are prepared, including the menu information for use with the screen. Via the screen definition query properties, the mentioned menu bus signal information for use with the screen will be provided and linked to the show screen interface. If you add more menu items afterwards, you need to add the signals and the screen definition query properties as well. Have a short break and summarize what we did in the last 7 steps. We prepared the guide software, dropped the main display function block from the library into the drawing area, allowed to add dependency files and make the header available. So the core steps to start and work with the display function blocks. In addition, we connected the mandatory inputs to the screen menu block and added items, in my example 4 items, which correspond as menu rows in the screen. Simply said, we prepared the framework of the screen menu, basic illustrated like this. A main title screen menu with 4 menu items, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each menu item provides all menu information since we added them to the screen definition. In the following steps, we will create the menu and the structure of each menu item more in detail, like the title, so-called description, and the layout of each submenu, for example. Step 8, navigate to the menu setup page. The menu setup page is the second of 3 core blocks in which you are able to lay out your menu structure. To lay out your menu structure, there is a corresponding folder in the library where various menu elements can be placed. How to add these will be described in the next step. Step 9, inside menu setup, the various menu elements can be placed to generate your menu structure. To do so, we will navigate to the menu setup inside the screen menu page. The screen menu page input signals are fed from the already mentioned parabus and menu string bus. The menu setup page is more or less an empty page. In the upper left corner is an init menu block, which can be used to update the shown text, for example. How to use it is described in the user menu in the chapter How to Switch Languages and not part of this video. The rest of the page is prepared with the input bus wires and the output bus. Inside the prepared empty drawing area, you are now able to add various menu elements from the display function block library. To use the different function block elements, you have to know first what each element can be used for. The user manual helps you with a nice overview of the input, output, and parameter signals and description. Any element do have a parent ID and a description input. The parent ID bus is a set of signals that are used to create a menu item. The menu item ID, so the reference of each menu item, is one part of the set and has been created via the previously mentioned menu item in step 5. The description input string is the name of the relative menu item, like basic setup, diagnostic, screen setup, and system setup, which I use in my ERC example. Via display function block elements, you have the possibility to create 5 different menu styles. Create menu, including the sub menu block, create list, including create text, create numeric, create boolean, and create icon. Let's take a look to the create menu block. This block is used to create a menu and a possibility to add a sub-menu on that assigned menu item. In my example, I use create menu assigned to my previous added menu item 1 and create a sub-menu. So a possibility to enter menu item 1 to get to sub-menu with another menu item. You can use the create menu block to jump to another screen or in combination with the submenu or create list to continue the menu structure. Therefore, create menu provides the set of signals that are used to create submenu items. In practice, it looks like this. Drag the element create menu to the first prepared empty space and connect the parent ID input of that block with the ID output bus of the init menu block, which is used for the menu handling. For the description input, I use a string constant component. This string value basic setup is used as the description, or also called title or name, of the first menu item shown on the screen. If we take a look inside the create menu block, you can check out the information about any input and output signal. I keep the para input bus empty, but as you can see, there are some values which can be used to show on the screen which are linked to this menu item, like show log or hide property. On the output side, we can see the menu ID, which is used to connect to the submenu block and contains the set of signals. Another output is menu, which returns the reference to the current menu item as an integer value. This value or menu item reference number can be used inside your or the application to compare against different things, like, for example, the active menu reference. In my example, I will keep or continue the main or the menu structure and not jump to another screen. I drop the function block submenu right after the create menu block and connect the inputs respectively. Keep the para input bus unconnected because I don't use parameters. The string input bus connect to the menu setup string input bus, which includes the descriptions, and the parent ID input with the output menu ID from the create menu bus for the already known menu handling. Step 10, inside of the submenu. Looking inside the submenu page, it is an empty block just with prepared bus wiring where you can put elements into. Here you can add the function block elements create list, create numeric, create boolean, and create icon. Any of these function blocks have non-volatile memory inside to store data to use in your application. Step 11. To use the list element, grab the create list block and place it in the menu structure. Start with create list is a block which is used to choose a language, for example, so a text list where the selected text is associated with an index value similar to the text list inside the screen editor. I drag the create list from the display function block library and drop it into the empty space inside the submenu page. Connect the already known inputs para, if necessary, strings and parent ID. The description input will be connected to a constant string type with the value language in my example. So the menu item assigned to this submenu will be displayed on the screen with the name language. Keep in mind, if more than one instance of this block is used in an application, each instance must be assigned a unique namespace value. So do I and choose a unique name. To add some selectable text to this text list, we go inside that page and see beside the general para configuration values and input output description two blocks. The main block create list with the locked logic inside and the list item block where we can add selectable text. Inside this empty and bus wiring prepared block, we add the number of texts via the create text block. Drop that element in the empty area, connect the parent ID and parabus input if necessary and a constant with string type. In my example, I added 3 text items to choose the language English, French, and German. Going back into the create list block, we can see on the right at the output signals beside the already known values, menu reference and ID signals, that data includes the value that is stored in non-volatile memory. This value of the selected list item can be used inside the application for further actions. Beside create list, the 3 other elements, create numeric, boolean, and create icon, do have the same behavior like create text inside the create list block. Provide the data that is stored in a non-volatile memory. Create numeric to create a numeric item, for example, to set the parameter, set point value, or the date and time within a data range of type signed 32. Create a Boolean to create a Boolean item, for example, to set light or dark display background, for example, within a data range of type bool, so true and false. And the create icon to create an icon item with the same data range like the numeric of type signed 32. Step 12. Once your menu is created, the next step is to work on the associated screen. An example of a screen setup can be seen in the block example screen page. On that example, you can see the different menu values like description, highlight, max desk length, show log icon, and so on, which can be read out from the screen menu function block or outside that block set via parameter. The screen menu block provides the output bus screen items, which or with all information for use with the screen. Since step 7, where all screen information has been provided into the screen definition via the show screen query properties, these can be easily connected to widgets or screen definitions and screen elements. Before I start working on the screen, I add my display buttons to be able to navigate through the menu via the display. I'm not able to show you on this video how to display any information on the screen and combine with logic to create a good looking and easy to use menu on the display screen. But I want to show you how easy and fast it is to create a menu structure with the display function block library. So like in my little EIC example, I have created 4 menu items. The first menu item, basic setup, includes a submenu with text lists called language and 3 text items called English, French, and German. Inside the screen editor, I add 5 text elements and assign the description signal from the title and the 4 menu subbuses, 1, 2, 3, and 4, to see the description name on my screen. That's my menu body. Download this on my DM430, and that's how it looks like. Just 5 text elements added showing the description string. Since I connected the display buttons inside Guide with the screen menu input bus traverse, I'm able to navigate through the menu. So button 1 to leave the submenu, button 2 to enter, button 3 to select the previous item, and button 4 to select the next item. By default, the navigate value starts at 0, so in this case, the first item from the top below the bold menu title. Click button 2 to enter the submenu, in this case, the submenu basic setup. As you can see, the description changed. Since we entered the new submenu basic setup, the assigned information, like in our case, the description of the title and each menu subbus, also refers to the submenu. Everything handled and managed via the previously added screen menu function blocks from the display library inside Guide. The shown menu item language is a text list, which includes 3 text items, English, French, and German. So we enter this menu item via button 2 and see these items displayed on the screen as well. You can see that the German text is shown twice. That's because we have 3 text items inside the submenu added, but 4 menu item placed as a placeholder on the screen. That's why the 4th item shows the data from the latest valid item, so in this case, item 3. But with additional logic like the menu information enable, it is possible to hide a menu row. Via button 1 and 2, I'm able to leave and enter the submenu and navigate through the menu. To show you the menu item selection in a quick and simple way, I added a text element in front of each menu item inside the screen editor and assign the menu information signal highlight. So as soon and as long a menu item is selected, its information value highlight is true. And this is how it looks on the screen after I downloaded the code to my display. An X icon or a character in front of the selected menu item. I can easily navigate with all buttons through the menu, next item, previous item, enter, leave, and back and forth. We hope that you found this tutorial useful. Remember that PLUS+1 community help is available on the PLUS+1 user forum. Check out other videos on our YouTube channel, or contact the PLUS+1 Helpdesk. Thank you for your attention.